Quick reminder, you can get 10% off this game and a bunch of other games by using my Google Sheet below. Just click on the link to the game that you want and it will give you 10% off. And if you're after Quest 3 or Quest 3S, use my affiliate links below to purchase one and get $30 in free Quest cash. Now on to my review. The backstory with this game is quite quick and simple. You're on this peaceful asteroid civilization called Monia, and the residents of Monia are called the Muddle, and they've been invaded by this alien race called the Tumai. You play as Agent Q, a special agent on a mission to track down these sneaky Tumai who blend in with the adorable Muddles as they try to invade and take over the world by destroying these orbs which somehow protect the people from alien attack. So the gameplay can be really broken down into 3 different modes. There's the hidden object mode, which makes up most of the gameplay, where you'll be searching for hidden objects in these little beautiful dioramas, uncovering clues by finding objects within the diorama and giving them to the Muddles that want them in order to get a clue or a piece of the orb that you need to reassemble. There's also sometimes little puzzle elements in there where you have to use one item on another item to progress further, and once you've assembled all the pieces of that orb, you blow the Tumai's cover, capture them, and you can view them later in the main menu. There's a section that shows all your captured Tumai and gives you a little description on each. Then there is the puzzle mode. This is not as frequent as the hidden object mode, but essentially it involves hacking your way through a mix of varied puzzles with some cool sci-fi gadgets. Then there is the least plentiful gameplay mode, and that is the rhythm action boss mode. Think of it like Beat Saber but with giant aliens tossing blocks at you. You have to hit the correct blocks with the correct coloured glove to the rhythm in order to defeat the boss. So let's start with the hidden object levels. This is where I had the most fun, and these are the most plentiful levels that you'll find in this game. So your primary mission is to find the orb pieces, but you've also got secondary tasks like tracking down random objects for the Muddles. Now why do you want to do this? Well, because the Muddles will give you clues to help you solve the main mission. Now you can use these clues to make your life easier, but you can also skip them and try to rely on your own smarts. And that's what I ended up doing most of the time, just because the game was very easy if you do use the clues, and only somewhat more difficult without them. Oh, and don't forget the hidden coins scattered around, because who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? And those coins you discover in the stages, you can use them to purchase characters to complete these scenes that you can find in the main menu, so it gives you a bit of incentive to collect all of the coins. Now what made this mode for me extra fun is the dioramas. I think they're absolutely stunning, the detail is amazing, and exploring each one was like stepping into a tiny, colourful world filled with life and adventure. I also really enjoyed the soundtrack. I think it perfectly captured the mood of the different settings. And it was a joy to explore the beautifully crafted environment to find all the hidden objects. But it's not just about finding hidden objects as well. There'll be occasions where you have to use tools in order to find what you need, say using a shovel to dig stuff up or smashing things open with hammers. It's like a scavenger hunt, but a bit more elaborate. And I like these small puzzles in amongst the hidden object finding. It kind of reminded me of those old point and click adventures where you need to use one item with another item to make something happen. But what I also found is these things tend to be recycled quite a bit across multiple levels. So taking the example of smashing a box open with a hammer, that won't just happen within 1 or 2 levels, it'll happen across multiple levels across the game. Which after you've done it the first few times, it doesn't become a puzzle anymore because you know how it all works, and it can get a bit tedious. Similarly, the objects you find within levels also tend to get recycled across multiple stages. And again, that repetition can make it feel a bit samey. Now next, let's talk about the other part of the game. That's the puzzle mode. There's 5 different puzzle types. A laser maze. This, we have to join up the correct color lights. Then this one, we have to hit the button at the right time to eliminate all the red nodes. This color sorting task here. And this block puzzle, where you have to slide the different blocks out the way so you can insert the USB stick. There's a decent creative variety here of puzzles, and they are fun to solve. And I found many of these puzzles can be solved in seconds. However, the puzzles do actually get more difficult, to the point where I did find them challenging, and at times I began losing lives. But the difficulty curve is kind of strange, because over about half the game the puzzles seem quite easy, And then during the later half of the game, it's like a switch and they become a lot more challenging. So the difficulty curve is a bit strange in the sense that it doesn't seem to increase gradually, but almost switch from easy puzzles to much more difficult. So really it's only the later half of the game that I found the puzzles to be enjoyable, in the sense that they actually began to challenge me, and because of that engage me a lot more. I feel that if it had difficulty settings to tweak things like time limits and lives, it could have been a win for both casual players and people looking for more of a challenge. And the other thing I mentioned is that you can't tilt the board up, or at least I couldn't find a way to do that, which meant I was having to kind of bend my neck to look over the puzzle to complete it, which after obviously a bit of time put a strain on my neck and was a bit uncomfortable. And then finally we have the least frequent part of this game, that's the boss rhythm battles. Now I do love the idea of a giant alien crashing through my walls in mixed reality, that part is cool, but the gameplay itself, basically just standing there with your arms out like a zombie waiting for blocks to come flying into your hands. You have to hit the blocks with the right coloured hand, and it's okay, but it feels more like a hold your arms out and hope for the best simulator than an actual full-blown rhythm game. So the fact that these levels are fewer and far between is okay with me. So overall it took me about 5 hours to complete, and I gotta say my experience in general, the different scenes look great. I loved exploring them, I loved finding the different items, and how the game goes beyond simple object finding, and there's some puzzles in there too. It has a great soundtrack that matches the different environments very well, but do expect a bit of repetition here when it comes to some of the objects and puzzles. Then when you go to the puzzle solving mode, I enjoyed the puzzles a lot better in the later half of the game when they become a lot more challenging. I found during the first half they were a bit too easy for me, and without the option of making them more difficult, weren't as enjoyable as they could have been. And finally you have the rhythm boss fights, which weren't bad by any stretch, but I don't think we're up to the same quality as the rest of the game. But they don't make up much of the game, and so it's not really an issue. So overall it did take me about 5 hours to complete, but the developers have promised an extra 20 stages after it's been released, so there is some more content to come. And I can recommend this one despite some of the issues that I mentioned in my review, with some repetition and puzzles that are perhaps a bit too far on the easy side. The whole package is great, fantastic dioramas, great soundtrack, a decent selection of puzzles, and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had finding all the hidden objects. So it's a thumbs up for me, and if you are after this game, remember you can get 10% off by using my affiliate link in the spreadsheet link below. Let me know what you think of this game in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching as always, and I hope to get you in the next one. Bye for now.